I know everyone's still really sad and reeling from the events that happened in the UK not too long ago, but we totally looked over the elections in Finland. And Finland actually just had an incredible woman. The government of Finland is now led by 5 women and the world's youngest prime minister. Finland is set to get a new left-wing government this month led by 5 female leaders, 4 of whom are younger than 35. Amongst them is the current Transport and Communications Minister, Sanna Marin, a 34-year-old social democrat who is widely expected to be confirmed as Prime Minister. She would be the youngest sitting head of government, as the other leaders competing for that title, 33-year-old former Austrian Chancellor Sebastian Kurz, is still looking to form a coalition government with new elections this fall. Unlike the conservative Kurz, Marin is a political liberal. The government she will be taking over has declared itself as a global frontrunner on combating climate change. Her predecessor, 57-year-old Antti Rinne, recently called himself a feminist, but later resigned over accusations that he had mishandled a postal service worker strike. He's expected to remain the leader of the Social Democrats. So this is exciting for a handful of reasons. There is 5 women, all of whom are forming a coalition government together. So there's Lee Anderson, 32 years old, Maria Ohisalo, 34, of the Green League, Anna-Maja Henriksson, 55, of the Swedish People's Party of Finland, Katri Kulmuni, 32, the Centre Party, and Sanna Marin, who's going to become the new Prime Minister at just 34 years old. That's a very young cabinet, and that's refreshing. You don't see a lot of, millennials leading countries these days.
Finland's new Prime Minister will also be the world's youngest. 34-year-old Sanna Marin was nominated by her Social Democratic Party on Sunday and will take office in the coming days. A female Prime Minister at the head of a coalition government whose 4 other parties are already led by women. The country's new government, consisting of 12 female and 7 male ministers according to media reports, will be nominated on Tuesday. She told reporters on Monday that she hadn't considered her gender or age when running for the top job.
So, how does it feel to get the keys to the castle and be running the country at 34 on Tuesday?
I will answer the same way I have answered so far. I personally have never thought about my age or my gender. Instead, the reasons for which I got into politics and the things that earned us the trust of the Finnish people in the election.
Marin will take over from Social Democrat Prime Minister Antti Rinne. Finland's government resigned last week after the coalition Centre Party said it had lost confidence in Rinne over his handling of a postal strike. The 5 parties in power decided to stay in coalition, but said there would be a reshuffle.
Kulunut viikko on ollut poikkeuksellinen. Nyt on aika katsoa eteenpäin.
The past week has been an exceptional one. Now it's time to look ahead. Today, as we start the work to form a government, all the governing parties are committed to the good programme we agreed on together in June. What we need now is not just words, but actions from all the governing parties to build trust. Comrades, let us join forces and work together towards building a socially, economically and environmentally sustainable society. Thank you.
The timing of this change in leadership is awkward for Finland, which holds the rotating presidency of the European Union until the end of the year, playing a central role in efforts to hammer out a new budget for the bloc.
So again, fantastic news, really good news out of Finland. You love to see it. I'm very curious to see what a 5 cabinet of
Finland's new prime
women, especially at that age, 34 through 55, are going to do to revolutionize things in there. And one of the most exciting things too is that they're making climate change obviously a key part of their entire platform. And I know the Tim Pools and the Stephen Crowders and the Quartering, who's very deeply in touch in politics, are going to say that we're either white knighting them or that this is a social justice warrior affair, to say the least. But it is very, very refreshing. And it's something that I'm very excited about. I mean, Sanna Marin, the new prime minister of the country, is basically a right-winger's ID poll nightmare come to life. Her parents are both women, so she is the daughter of an LGBTQ family, and she has risen to become the prime minister of the country. It's exactly the kind of thing that I thought the outrage machine would spin into high gear. But to be honest, world politics usually, especially American and Western politics, doesn't care about countries like Finland. So that's why you haven't heard too much reporting on this. But it's fantastic. It's great news. Their parliament is dominated by women under 35. She's been very big in downplaying the gender in her win. I have not actually ever thought about my age or gender. As a comment like this might sound strange to Americans, but when it comes to women's representation in government, Finland and other Nordic countries are far ahead of the United States. Finland routinely ranks as the world's top worldwide measure in gender equality. According to the World Economic Forum, it elected the first female prime minister in 2003, and women have made up 47% of its parliament after elections this year. Meanwhile, in the US, women are still only less than a quarter of Congress, and female candidates for president face questions about whether they are likable enough to serve. Rather than gender, Marin says she thinks about the reasons I got into politics and those things for which we have won the trust of the electorate. So yeah, Finland is now one of the world leaders in having female representation in politics as well.
Did you enjoy what you just watched and now crave more nectar of the damned? Did you know that if you're watching on YouTube, you're only getting half the surfy experience? We upload all of our content commercial and censorship free to our Patreon. Due to the general demonetization of our videos, we now upload half of our original content directly to those who can help us produce this show. Want even more nectar than that? Well, come join us at twitch.tv/TheSerfsTV, where we do weekly live streams, debates, interviews, AMAs, and more. If you're an Amazon Prime member, you can help support our show 100% free by subscribing to our Twitch channel. So come join us, be merry, and know that your support is helping us do great things.
Like pay rent and eat.
Hearing that a guy talked to a burning bush doesn't prove anything other than that he might be crazy or took some really great magic mushrooms.
We would first and foremost like to thank our god Nicholas Marks, we worship at your temple. We would like to thank our monarch Elsie Hupp. Your generosity has made this entire thing possible. We would like to thank our lords Ricky Pilgrim, I'm Raft, and Michaela Schmidt. You are the pillars of our organization. To our Knights of the Surf Table, Paul Parfit, Daniel Kahn, Fair Tahan, Clement Chutskov, Schizosaurus, Josh Mickelson, Dr. Zayas, Cooper Pilot, Andre Lynn Epperly, Dylan Bith, Terry, Todd Buckingham, Jed Lewis, Todd Lajeunesse.